It is here. The race known for its ruggedness, for its over-the-top fans, and for its list of champions. The Canadian Open Downhill presented by iXS. One last race to decide the Crankworx Downhill World Champion. North America's most prestigious, most lucrative, and most innovative race is a go.
This is what it's all about. The place to be, Crankworx World Tour. Here we go.
Several dimensions are shaping victories.
Oh, stopping it! So perfect, this is ridiculous.
The best mountain bike riders on Earth.
Check the time here. Can he keep it up? He enters the final straightaway. He does! Oh! Just barely too short.
One queen and one king will claim the title of best all-around mountain biker on the planet.
Welcome to beautiful Whistler, BC, epicenter for mountain biking and ground zero for Crankworx, the most prestigious mountain bike festival in the world. This is the fourth and final stop on the Crankworx World Tour. Today, we welcome some of the best racers in the world to compete for the ultimate supremacy in the Canadian Open D8s presented by iXS. And on behalf of Crankworx Whistler, we want to recognize Squamish and Lillooet nations for welcoming this event on their traditional territory. I'm joined by two-time medalist in the Canadian Open, pro rider Andrew Needling. Needles, you've been on the podium before. What does it take to get on the podium here today?
Well, Brad, it's going to take a very clean run. Conditions very dry out there, but it's a short track, so you've got to come out the gate as fast as you can and not leave anything out there.
So we're talking to some of the riders earlier, and a lot of the riders are saying that conditions are very tough. Things are blown out there. What do you think about the track conditions today?
Every year this track gets drier and rougher. That's really challenging for bike setup and obviously line choice.
Well, for more on track conditions, let's check in with the third member of our team, Hannah Bernard. Hannah?
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, Andrew, you were saying that the fastest rider is going to have to put down a clean run, but today that's going to be virtually impossible. It is so dusty, so blown out, and you can actually see just how thick this dust is. Talking to the riders, they're saying you might as well be riding this blindfolded. You have no idea what is underneath this thick film of dust on this track today. It really is going to separate the best mountain bikers in the world from the rest of the pack. And a guy that's done it before, he's won it twice before, Troy Brosnan, he posted this today saying he's stoked on this track and it feels like home. So we're going to have to see who's going to be able to get down this track with the fastest time here in this contest today.
Thanks, Hannah. Challenging conditions indeed. These riders are going to have to tackle out there. But let's take a look at the start list for the women, breaking it down for you. Taking a look right here, we're seeing 5 of them. You got Via Verbeek, she's the defending bronze medalist, but Tracy Hanna, she can get it done, couldn't she?
Yeah, last but not least, she's going for the repeat.
And that's a tough thing to complete as well. But let's go on board and take a look at this course. You've been out there before. It's different. It's rough. Talk me through it.
Yeah, Whistler hasn't seen a lot of rain over the last few months, and it's showing in the course. The course starts at the top, quite flat, but you're riding with a lot of momentum. Rock slabs, but the problem is all that dry dust gets dragged onto these rock slabs. So braking is extremely challenging. Obviously line choice like we spoke about. I like this course though because there's a few options on line choice at the top. You've got to use that pumping technique that we saw in pump track because you can't always get pedals in because you might clip the pedals.
Now you can't attack it like you did in years previous because your line choices in years previous are going to be different this year because of course conditions, right?
Exactly that. It's such a fine line on pushing too hard and losing the race up top. Like I said, that dust gets dragged onto the rocks. Here we come into Heckler's Rock, one of the coolest sections on the track, into the whoops. Here's where it starts getting steeper though. In these S-turns after Heckler's Rock. Again, line choice is crucial. You want to set up nice and wide. This is a very cool section. There's a big step down under the lift. Alex Viola had a huge crash here last year. Then you're going to cross the road, but your work's not done yet. You're going to go into the woods. Very critical section. Line choice is paramount.
All right, well, you know what? We talk about line choice being very important when it comes to this race here today in your Canadian Open presented by iXS. But let's talk about someone who has been on fire all season, and we're talking about Tracy Hanna. She has been tearing things up in a big way. You look at what she did out there in Rotorua, first place out there in Rotorua. Solid stuff out of her.
Tracy clearly had a great offseason, preparing hard, and it showed when she came out in Rotorua and she took that win almost with ease.
And then it was all about Tracy Hanna having to go out to Leger and see if she can recapture the fame that she got out there, but second place for her in Leger.
Leger, a lot drier this year, which is something to note. Should have played more into her favor, but it didn't. She only got second.
And then she went to Innsbruck after that. She took first, but let's catch up with Tracy Hanna right now.
Tracy, you're our defending champion here at the Canadian Open. What are the conditions like, and do you think they favor you being Australian and things are dry there in your off-season?
Yeah, defending champion, but the track's not like I've ever seen it before. I mean, I guess I haven't had rain here in 2 months, and you can really see it in the dirt. It's down to the bedrock, but you can't really feel what the ground's doing. It's just pretty much moving underneath you. So every run makes me pretty nervous because you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I guess it's a risk with this track.
So in saying that, you've got a commanding lead in the series title chase. What does that do to your strategy coming in? Are you going to ride safe or push for that win?
My goal is definitely to push for the win. I'm on a new prototype bike, and I really want to see exactly what it's got, especially going into the World Champs. So yeah, I'll be pushing for the win to test out the bike, and yeah, I don't race to lose, I suppose.
Well, that's great to hear. We wish you all the luck, and we can't wait to see the race unfold.
Thank you.
Catching up with Tracy Hanna right there, but you look at what Tracy Hanna's done. She's been pretty much near perfect all season long, but someone who's been kind of chasing her down, Emily Siegenthaler too. She's one that could come out here and shake things up, couldn't she, Needles?
Yes, she definitely has. She came out with a great result in Rotorua. She went on to take second. She followed that up in Leger with another second place, but when is she going to go one step further and take the win?
Well, and it's going to be up to her on this one. Tracy Hanna's feeling pretty confident on that, but Emily Siegenthaler's been solid all season long. But let's take a look at the men's start list we're going to be taking a look at here. Before we get to that, let's look at this right here.
So Emily, back like we said in Leger, she came out with a great result. Very strong here from Switzerland, so she played into her favor here in Leger.
Well, a first for her in Rotorua. She got that one. Innsbruck, that was also another first for Tracy Hanna. And, you know, Emily Siegenthaler was hanging with her all the way through it. But let's talk about the men's start list that I was talking about and show you what we're going to be looking at right here. This is how we're going to start things off here in your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. So you see Magnus Manson in there. He's the guy that got fourth in the Fox Air DH. He's a surprise out there. He's made the big jump to the pros. He could do some damage out here today, too.
Yeah, he had a great run there in ADH. You've got likes of Brendan Faircloth coming off decent form, not at the season he won, Sam Blenkensop. And then into the heavy hitters of Jack Moore leading the series. And last but not least, like we said in the ladies, we've got Troy Brosnan.
Well, Troy Brosnan is feeling comfortable, likes the course, and excited about it. A lot of people are talking about the course being blown out, but Troy Brosnan feels very confident. And now's your time also. Well, you can pick your favorite DH riders. That's right, for the men and for the women. All you got to do, Crankworx Fantasy, fantasy.crankworx.com. I already picked my team, Needles.
Well, once again, I'm not going to give you privy to my information. That's a secret. But, guys, you got to log on, pick your team.
And you can do it right now. This is the great thing about Crankworx Fantasy. You can go on there right now before the racing begins. You can pick your overall team. There's daily prizes, and there's also big prizes as well. You got to stay within your budget. Can't spend too much. Take all the top guys. You got to pick a dark horse here and there. But it's a lot of fun to play, and we've been doing this for some time now. And you see how you could stack up against the rest of the world with the Crankworx Fantasy. Fantasy.crankworx.com. Well, we're getting fired up out here. I know you people are getting fired up at home, watching at home. Your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. Your 5 top women are going to be coming at you. We got the men loaded and ready to go too as well. This is going to be a good one. Don't go anywhere. Get your favorite beverage on hand and join us for all the action because it's all on the way. It's Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. Racing coming up.
we're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Crankworx Whistler brought to you by SRAM. Range to realize, that's SRAM. And it's time for a little geography lesson. If you haven't been to Whistler, BC before, let me show you exactly where it is. We're just gonna zoom right in on it right now. And there is the slice of awesomeness. This is 2 hours north of Vancouver. You find Whistler, BC, and there's a lot going on here.
3 lifts, 97 trails, like it says. Man, what a place to ride a mountain bike. And they've got something for everyone.
They pretty much do. You can take the family up here. You can do what you want. You can go up there and try the hardest trails you want. You can scare yourself, but you can have a lot of fun while doing it.
That you can. I love coming here. I've been coming here since 2003.
All right, well, let's talk about the standings. We talk about Crankworx, it's a world tour, and we crown a king and we crown a queen. And this year's queen of Crankworx, without me saying a little bit more about it, well, let's check in the queen of Crankworx right here. Looking at it right now, look at those points. You can barely fit in the points for Jill Kittner right there. What a landslide for her, Needles.
Yeah, unbelievable season. It's not easy to do. She had to stay healthy throughout the whole season and obviously notch up some wins, podiums along the way.
Well, Tracy Hanna was giving her best, Caroline Buchanan giving her best, but when the dust settled, no pun intended on that, Jill Kittner takes the big win for the queen of Crankworx, and standing by right now with Hannah Bernard, our current queen of 2017, Jill Kittner. Hannah?
Well, guys, it is official. No one is taking away the Queen of Crankworx plate from this lady for the 2nd year in a row. Jill Kittner is your Queen of Crankworx. And Jill, I feel like I'm always talking to you about how it feels to be taking a gold or taking the Queen title. But what I want to ask you right now is how it feels to be a role model for all of the young women coming up in this sport.
Yeah, I guess in those big moments, like, you take something for yourself, but the best part of this whole thing is to be able to share it with people and like have an experience with everybody that's here and was part of it and cheered for you, and like so many little girls on the fence or little boys, and I don't know, this thing has just grown so huge over the years, and you know, like I enjoy seeing those smiling faces and like giving them high fives on the way. It kind of gives me energy to do what I do, and I don't know, it's just, I'm just so stoked that I could get it done in those like high pressure situations, and now I'm like relieved that it's over and redeem my title, I suppose. I don't know. It's been a hectic week for sure, and yeah, I don't know, you just try and everyone gives you a little bit of their energy when they cheer for you, so I really appreciate that.
And talk a little bit about the journey to get here. Obviously 4 stops on this world tour, golds, silvers, so many different placings in order to come away with the Queen of Crankworx. But talk about your journey to this point.
Yeah, I mean, starting in Rotorua, I mean, I had a little bit of an injury there in the downhill that separated my shoulder and had to keep going like that whole week. And, you know, just adding new stops and unknown things is, you know, you go to a different venue and a different culture and you have to like adapt to all these new challenges that present themselves. But, you know, when it ends in Whistler, and this is basically like my home race, like, I don't know, it just ends so nice for me. Like, I love being here, and it's just like all my friends are here, and it's just, I don't know, it's just every year presents a new challenge, and you go through these different stops and different weather, and you never know what can happen, and you have to be really focused to not make huge mistakes and throw it away. You know, like you got to show up to win the title, and that's a long year to get there. You know, 4 stops is a lot tougher than 3. So.
Well, you're such an incredible ambassador for women in mountain biking and such an incredible ambassador for Crankworx, and you are the queen once again, guys. Jill Kinney, you're queen of Crankworx going into 2018.
Oh, how exciting is that for Jill Kinney? You know the hardest thing, Needles, when I think about this, Crankworx World Tour, it's 4 stops, but the 4th and final stop is always here in Whistler, and that's the hardest stop because there's so many more events. So you could do good all season long, but the 4th and final stop here in Whistler, that can make or break your season when it comes to trying to become the queen of Crankworx.
It is extremely important for Jill. Like you said, she had to make up the numbers, get a few more podiums to take that. But what a humble champion. I just like how she accepted that she is the queen, but she's kind of hoping that she's going to inspire the next generation.
Well, we'll see if she can three-peat it next year, but we won't take it too far of herself. Now, she refers to Whistler as being home, and there's some special riding here in Whistler. And speaking of that, top of the world, what do you think about Whistler in the top of the world?
Yeah, as much as there's great riding here in the bike park, you have to get to the top of the world. There's amazing views up there. The enduro stage starts up there, but there's just riding for everywhere up at the top of the world. And what's best is the views you get, Brad.
And if you haven't been up there, you got to go up there at least once and take a look, because you get the whole backside of the mountain. You see views that you just don't see from down here. I mean, the views in Whistler are amazing, but top of the world just kind of signs the deal right there when you get up to the top of the world. Beautiful spot. Get up there, premier alpine mountain bike riding at its finest, top of the world, Whistler style. All right, well, let's take a look at our start list for the women as we get ready to go here. We got our top 5 coming your way. And they're the ones that can do damage. Via Verbeek, she's the defending bronze medalist. Tracy Hanna, she wants to come out and take care of business. She's had an amazing year all season long.
Emily can put a run together here. She's had seconds all year long. I think she'll be aiming for 1 step higher.
Well, enough about this one. I think we're about ready to get some racing on. Hey, stay with us. It's time for go time here. It's your Canadian Open D8 presented by iXS. The women, the top 5, well, they're coming up next.
Because fast never goes out of style. Because epic rides should actually be epic. Because steep is relative. Code was designed to deliver massive power and predictable modulation for braking control when and how you want it, on the longest descents and under the burliest loads. Better, stronger, faster.
Crankworx Whistler brought to you by Kokanee. Kokanee, Glacier Fresh Beer. And moments away from racing action to get underway here live from Whistler. And our second to the last day, Red Bull Joyride coming up tomorrow, but today is all about your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. And Andrew Needling, a 2-time medalist in this event. Brad J here calling the action for you. But the conditions of these tracks, I hate to harp on the conditions so much, but you just hear it from every single rider that it's blown out. So what are you going to do on a situation like this? How do you just keep your head on your shoulders and do a good run?
Well, it comes down to how well you practiced. You had to push yourself in practice to see where the limits are. Sometimes in a race run you want to go over your limits and you're really pushing, but you can't do that here because it's going to end in a crash.
Well, and you caught up with Tracy Hanna. You were talking about that very thing, and she says she's never ever seen it like this, but she still feels pretty comfortable. She says the dirt is moving underneath, so you just really don't know what to expect when you get out there, do you?
No, exactly that, and the conditions are going to change a little bit throughout the day. Maybe a rider rolls a rock in the way or something like that.
Well, we're talking about the conditions. Let's walk you through this entire course and show you what they're dealing with. Wow.
I mean, it is raw and ragged out there. As you can see, so much loose dust, dirt, lying on top of those shale rocks, and that's what's extremely, extremely tricky. You're not exactly sure what's going to be grippy and what's not.
How much thought do you have to put into it? I mean, if things are the way they are, do you not want to focus too much about that and really just try and run your race?
Yeah, exactly that. Like I said, you're going to have doing practice runs, and that's where you're going to gauge how fast you can actually push it. And that's the fine line, and that's why these guys are the best racers in the world.
Oh, good point there. Danielle Beecroft from Australia. She's been having a little bit of a good time out here. A couple of top 10 finishes for her. Fox Air DH finished in that 9th spot for the pivot racer, Danielle Beecroft.
Yeah, so taking it back, look at the Fox Air DH. A little bit different to the track we're going to see here. Most famous track here at Whistler, probably, if not the world. What do you think, Brad?
I think so. I really think so. I think most mountain bike parks are constructed when they think about A-Line, they think about Whistler. This is what they think of. And Danielle Beecroft doing her thing. Top 10 right there. Fox Air DH. She ended up in that 9th spot for her, and she'll be the one to start this party off. She'll be the first one to go. And what's going through her mind? She's trying to put a fast time in.
Well, that's why I'm here in the booth and not up in the start gate anymore. There's some serious nerves you're going to feel up in that start gate. Hopefully she's going through a run in her head. You know, you've done your practice. Now you've got to get in that mindset. Now, some riders need to calm down. They're too excited. They're too aggressive. They go out the start too fast. Some are the other way around. Some need to get hyped up because they start too slow in that run.
Now, you and I were talking off camera, off mic earlier today, and you were saying that gut feeling in your stomach before you do this race, it kind of eats you up a little bit, but when you get down, you feel a lot better when you finally finish it rubber side down, right?
Yeah, I was trying to say, I think every race was pretty similar. Even when I got better, more experience, I was doing well, I still had that weird feeling in my gut, but that's why they race. You get that feeling, it's the nerves, and then when you get a clean run in, it's just so much of a relief at the bottom.
Well, you had a bronze, you had a silver, so you've done good here before, but now we focus 100% on the women. First up, Danielle Beecroft. Danielle's going to start things off here from Australia. She'll be our first of 5 racers, and she's got to do a good one here to try and challenge Tracy Hanna and Ellie Siegenthaler.
Yeah, you're Ocean champion from 2017, so this could play into her favor with a loose, dry, rugged terrain like you find in Australia, especially in the off-season. And she is up at the split. From what we see, it's 10.9 seconds, holding that tight line in the roots. That's the shortest way down in that corner. But you might see from the men later doing the wider line because you can carry more speed.
Well, staying on it right there, just keeping her focus all the way down. 9th in the Fox Air DH. She's up from the top time right now, so she's definitely in touch with that. First of 5 women to go here.
So most of the hard work done as they pop out of the trees here. It's about 2 and a bit minutes here, closer to 3. So she's taking the go-around section. She's not opting for the jumps, which most of the men are going to hit. So like we said, most of the hard work done, but you've got to get hard on the pedals here because you've got a few more turns and jumps to navigate before you can cross that line and breathe that sigh of relief.
Well, Tegan Malloy has the fastest time for the women so far, 3:17.81, and she's up on that by 14, so she's well in touch.
Yeah, she's put another 4 seconds into Tegan, so this is a great run from Daniela. Pushing hard, like we said, playing into her favor here, these dry conditions here at the Canadian Open.
So 3:55.48, that was the correct time right there for Tegan Malloy. And Danielle Beecroft definitely taking a chunk out of that one as she comes down here towards the base. Here we go. She's coming into view. Doubling up right there. Coming across the line. Check in for Danielle Beecroft. What's she going to get? 3:38.10. 3:38.10. Your new leader with that one. Danielle Beecroft. Solid riding out of her. So let's go back up top right now. We know who's got the lead right now. Danielle Beecroft with a 3:38.10. As we're set for Camelia Nogueira from Argentina now. Camilla's going to
dropping in on that common cell bike. Can she upset Daniela? Daniela's obviously going to have a top 5 finish guaranteed, but can she go better?
Well, Camilla, remember also when we were out there in Leger in the downhill, she got a top 10 finish, 10th place, but she's well back, 6.5 back. That's pretty hard to reel that in.
Yeah, so she's back at the split. That's a different line to Daniela. She chose the outside longer line, but carries a little bit more speed. Oh, treacherous conditions and a mistake and a crash. She's down. That's not going to help her chances gaining any more time back. That's probably the race done for her.
No,
she's okay, though.
Just coming out of one piece. But just look at the track conditions, too. You can really see how dusty it is out there.
And what a challenge for her to get going. Some of these sections are way harder to ride when you haven't got momentum. The momentum carries you over those bumps, Brad.
Well, unfortunately, going down there, and before she went down, though, she was out of touch with that time. So even with the crash right there, she's not going to be able to get any time back.
Big case there. So she opted for the big jumps, whereas Daniela Beecroft didn't. Playing it safer on the go-around. Camilla casing, but getting over them.
So realizing the 3:03.81, Danielle Beecroft with that one, and she's well back, 14.76 for Camilla.
As we expected, she lost over 8 seconds there in that crash. Easily when you're off the bike, it's between 8 and 10 seconds you normally end up losing. So the race is by far done for her. Unfortunate. She'll have to come back next year and try again here at the Canadian Open.
And here she goes towards kind of getting those pedal strokes in towards the bottom section here for Camilla, but it's all said and done for her. Here we go, coming across for Camilla Nogueira from Argentina. The time in for her, that's going to be 3:56.92, third place. Wyatt Verbeek now, it is her turn to come on down this course, and if you look what she did, she is your defending bronze medalist from last year.
She also took the win in the ADH in Rotorua. So she's been doing very well and building confidence over the season of Crankworx. Let's pick her up here, a little bit lower. She's looking good down the steep section here, dropping out of the woods. Will she go for the jumps like we saw Camilla do?
Well, she got a third in the Fox Air DH just the other day too. So she's already got one podium under her belt. Let's see if she can get across the road gap.
She does it clean. This is great to see. She's pushing hard here, going up to the final split there at 3:03 that she's looking to beat. She's within touch. Daniela Beecroft with a 3:03.81. Via coming into view here. And she's up by 10 seconds. This is a big run by Via.
I just got to keep it together here towards the lower section. This is when things are pretty rough down here too as well.
This is a great run for her. She can keep this up. She'll go into the hot seat and secure a podium finish once again, coming off third place last year. Really building on momentum. We've been seen on a lot of Crankworx podiums. How high can she go today? It's looking like she'll take over that hot seat, coming into the finish.
Well, here we go. Down to the final stretch. She doubles that one up. Trying to get those pedal strokes in. Here we go. The time in. Number one spot, 3:28.47 for Via Verbeek on that one.
That's a really good run from Via. Canadian. She spends a lot of time up here in Whistler. It's clearly paying off. She knows this track well.
So in first, remember, third in the Fox Air DH a few days ago, sixth in the Air DH in Leger, France, fourth in Rotorua in the DH. So she's been hanging around that top 5 for a while, but right now she's holding the number 1 spot right now.
Emily Siegenthaler, our favorite Swiss rider. Always got a smile on her face. Had some great results. Becoming a bit of the queen of second place finishes, unfortunately. Second in Leger Air DH, second in Rotorua DH. Can she go one better here at the Canadian Open?
Boy, she's just had so many second places, so many third places, but could this be the day for her, for Emily Siegenthaler, to get up on that top spot, doing it for Pivot Factory Racing? Well, right now you have Via Verbeek. Right now she's in that number 1 spot down below. She's in the hot seat and she's watching. Here comes Emily Siegenthaler now, the Swiss rider.
Emily, strong in the dry. Even though she hails from Switzerland, she's done well at Lenzerheide before. That track is always dry. Very clean here, but she looks like she's behind by 7 seconds from what the split second telling us. Holding it tight here in the step downs, holding good speed. You want to get off your brakes here so that you can hold momentum over those bumps. Oh, very loose, like we've been talking about the treacherous conditions. She's over-braked there and just slid out. She's going to lose a bit of time there. Standing herself up in that corner as well. She's riding maybe more tight than she's used to. Via's put in an extremely fast run here. Emily going, picked her up. She's decided to go for the chicken route, as they call it. She's wanting to play it safe. She's a little bit back on Via's time here. She needs to get hard on the pedals, and sitting down is not going to help her cause.
She might have had problem in the upper section that we missed on that, so I'm not sure what could have happened to her, but that might be the reason she's out of touch right now.
So Via, confidently sitting in that hot seat. She looks like she's going to go one better than she did here last year, at least. Sitting in that hot seat. Emily Siegendahl lost more time, 9.72 back. Like we said, she over-braked there in the steep section. She lost a bit of traction. Then it seemed like she stood herself up in a turn. She's just not riding herself here. Maybe she's had an issue, or she's just physically drained from a hard week.
It's been a big week for her, for sure. You know, 5th in the Foxy Air DH, 3rd in the Garbo DH. And her time in, 3:37.75. Not enough to challenge that top spot right now. But let's check in with Hannah Bernard, standing by with our current leader. Hannah.
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Via Verbeek. Now, Via, we've been talking about your confidence building. You've been having a great season, just getting higher and higher up on that podium with the 3rd last year here. How confident do you feel right now with Tracy Hanna coming down?
Confidence is there. I think I've just been trying to have a full season without any injuries, and I'm here now, so I didn't have to build up to it. So I feel good, but it's a tough course.
Talk about this course. You put down an amazing time on this course, but talk about the conditions and what a tough granite was.
It's insane. Tracy should love it. She's Australian. Honestly, she's going to thrive. It's so hard. And yesterday it rained a little bit, and it felt better, but we knew it was going to be blow up today, and it was.
All right, guys, we have Tracy Hanna coming down right now.
Yeah, speaking of Tracy Hanna, thank you, Hannah. Tracy Hanna, solid stuff out of her, and she's pretty confident on that new bike, right?
Yeah, she's our reigning Canadian Open champion. She's told us that she's on her prototype polygon. She's getting used to this bike for Cairns, the World Champs coming up. But before that, she told us earlier she's still going to go for the win. She's not playing it safe here, even though she's got a commanding lead. Looking very aggressive here, holding that high line. Nice momentum. Opting for that inside line. That is a great line. That's a shorter track, so she's going to make up some time on the girls here. We don't have a split time out of her just yet, but she's looking incredibly aggressive, which is no surprise out of Tracy, known for her aggression.
Well, you talk about being from Australia. This is the kind of conditions she thrives in. That's what Verbeek said as well, and it looks like she's doing just that.
Yeah, clean over the road gaps, like we said. This, to me, she's so fast. She's up at split one, and she's up by a lot coming into the second split. She's looking to get there by 2:53. She's going to do it, folks. She's definitely up at the second split as well by 8 seconds,
wow.
Brad. This is a big lead. Last year, she won by 10 seconds. Can she put any more time into Via coming into the finish? Riding with no gloves, no care in the world here, on a new prototype polygon, getting ready for the World Champs. But here, she's looking to repeat at the Canadian Open.
You see Via, she is watching intensely right now. Tracy Hanna, our final rider in the women's category, coming down. She's going for the three-peat. Can she do it? Here we go towards the bottom. She's looking solid. Here we go, the time in for Tracy Hanna. Crosses 3:17.85 right there, takes the win and the three-peat, and wins the downhill title as well. Tracy Hanna on fire, as you expected.
Yeah, she put another big margin into the girls here. She's really at home on this dry, rough track. What a great confidence boost of her, and that will cement the title for the overall series champion in downhill here at Crankworx World Tour.
She has had 4 podiums in a row on your Canadian Open presented by iXS, just back on point again. And let's take a look at Tracy Hanna, how solid she is from top to bottom needles.
So she opted for the wide line, but what it did is it helped her set up this next inside line. That's the shortest distance to get around that turn, and thus putting some time into these girls. She was very good on the brakes, very light on the brakes and not stabbing them to cause any disruption in her tires. So she maintained a lot of traction down the course. She's a very aggressive rider. She's had some big crashes, but she's back on top form, having one of the best seasons to date here. Very smooth over the road gap as well. Cleared those things with ease. That bike's clearly working out for her, so I think she'll, like we said, take some nice confidence. What a great run to end the season of the Crankworx World Tour and wrap up that title.
Yeah, she goes back-to-back wins for her, and that's her 4th podium in a row on the Canadian Open. Let's check in with Hannah Bernard, standing by with our winner.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, yes, I have Tracy Hanna here, your gold medalist here at the Canadian Open down here, presented by iXS. Now, Tracy, at the top of the show, you talked about how you were riding a brand new bike to get ready for World Champs. I think it worked. Talk to us about your run.
Yeah, I guess I was saying to my team boss I was more nervous at the top for the track than the race, because getting out on that track is, everyone should get a medal for that.
And now, Andrew was talking earlier about you must have had an amazing offseason. What did you focus on to come out and dominate all season long this year?
Well, every year you always find what your weaknesses are and you work on those in the off-season, and I guess strength was a big one of mine, and I worked really hard on that, and it's paying off now.
And not only are you taking the gold medal here in this contest, you are also our World Cup, our World Downhill Champion here at Crankworx. How does that feel, Tracy?
Yeah, it's awesome. After winning it last year, it was definitely a goal going into the season to take the Downhill World Series again, and yeah, I'm stoked to have it.
All right, well, a big congratulations to you guys. Tracy Hanna, your gold medal champion here at the Canadian Open Downhill, presented by iXS.
She is so consistent. That's what she does time after time. She just lands on that podium, takes the title here. Look at your Women's Downhill World Tour titles for the downhill, and you can see those points right there, 550. That's a big jump over Siegenthaler in that second spot.
Yeah, she knots up 2 wins. Rotorua, she came out with a bang, taking the win, and then delivered at the final round here in Crankworx with another win, and obviously being consistent in the middle with some podiums.
Well, congratulations are in order for Tracy Hanna. Not only the gold medal out here at your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS, but the series title as well for her. So wrapping it up in one run, not only do you secure the gold medal, but you also secure the title as well.
That is a big payday. From what we've been told, there's $5 grand on the line for the day, and then obviously the series title as well. So it's great to see them get rewarded for risking life and limb, as Tracy said.
And she's so busy, not just competing on just here at Crankworx, but she competes all season long. She's got the Worlds coming up as well. So it's hard to probably keep all that straight for Tracy Hanna.
Yeah, that's why I asked her, you know, how safe was she going to play it, having the World Champs in her hometown coming up. But like we said, she races to win, so that's great to see.
Well, the top men are coming up for you in a little bit, but also coming up for you tomorrow. Oh, yeah, you know what it's all about. It's your Red Bull Joyride. There's a look at it right there. That's like the equalizer. It's all coming up. The top men on the way. That's tell you what, and Red Bull Joyride is a big part of it.
Sorry, bud, I didn't know where you were going.
You don't have to like me. Hell, you can hate me if you want. But I do demand your respect. I feel like I've earned it. Because I've been around, seen a few things. Yeah, I think I get better looking as the years pass by, but I'm still as old as dirt. I might not know your name, perhaps better if I don't. Because I don't play favorites. Ain't my game, ain't my job. I don't care what you did 12 seconds ago or 12 months. Only matters what you do right now, the next few seconds. Get it wrong and I'll send you packing. Get it right and I'll make you a legend.
And there you go. That's the time for you right there. Tomorrow, the big show. And, boy, that's a way to end it right there. And that's one of the roughest things right there. And you see that jump, that step down just seems to get bigger every single year. You got the whale tail up there. And it's 12 trickable features for your Red Bull Joyride. You don't want to miss that. Red Bull TV will keep you locked and loaded for tomorrow. That's for sure.
No, you don't. What a spectacle we'll have tomorrow. But before that, we've obviously got to finish up our men.
Well, we talked about the queen of Crankworx. Let's take a look at your 2017 King of Crankworx standings. And right there, Aidan Roan, He worked so hard in the offseason to come out and try and secure that title, and he did it by a lot over Mitro Pilato in that second spot. But Adrian Lerone worked on tricks. He pulled those out in the cliff, dual speed and style. He did what it took, and he comes away as the king of Crankworx.
He did, and even got that unexpected win in A-line. So unbelievable feat. It's so good to see that he was working hard in the offseason, worked on his fitness, and I think that played into his favor in the A-line. And then, like you said, he's gone home, he's done his homework, he's learned tricks, he's putting, you know, his money where his mouth is. He used to be, what, the king of second places, a lot of podiums. But he came out here and won 2 events in 1 week.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of props on that one. Let's see if we can get a word with him right now. Let's check in with Hannah Bernard, standing by with our king of Crankworx 2017. Hannah.
Well, guys, I feel like we've been waiting to say this for a long time. Adrian Lerone is your king of Crankworx. And Adrian, I feel like this journey didn't start just this year. 2015, you were so close. Last year, you were so close. Now you have it. Put it into words. What's going through your mind?
It's been a lot of work for sure, and 3 long years, and it's so good to have it finally, and yeah, pretty happy.
Talk about the mental battle and the pressure and all of those things that come into play and how you overcome them to come out and really perform.
I think we are a few good riders, and everybody's so close all the time, so it's a lot in your head, and you have to be strong and keep to feel good in your mind, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, I feel like a turning point was in Leger when you came away with that gold medal on home soil. We saw that emotional, huge escapade that happened with your family. Talk a little bit about the support of the people that have helped you to get here.
For me, it's everything. I'm really close to my family and my friends, and it helped me a lot to get good results, to feel good. And it's my way to get ready for the races, spending time with my family, my friends, and yeah, laughing and sharing good moments.
All right, well, I think I can speak for everyone here at Crankworx. A big congratulations for you guys. Your king of Crankworx, Adrian Lerone.
Oh, that's a feel-good story right there for Adrian Lerone, coming away, getting that win, the king of Crankworx. He has been wanting that title. You know, Slavic got it the year before. Bernard Kerr got it the year before that. Adrian Lerone always so close. But now let's switch gears and talk about your men's downhill world tour standings right now. And you see that, Jack MOIR, 245 points. Mick Hanna in the second spot, but he's not here. But Troy Brosnan, he's in striking distance of MOIR for that downhill world title. But speaking of Jack MOIR, let's introduce you to the man, Jack MOIR.
So Jack MOIR had an incredibly good off-season, and it paid off because he came out firing at the first round in Road to Ruhr. He went on to take the win at our first stop of the Crankworx World Tour. He's also a reigning champ from the Downhill Series last year.
And also what he did, too, was second place behind Troy Brosnan last year in the Canadian Open. So I'm sure he'd like to turn that second place to a first place and take the gold.
Yeah, here he was at the J. Another strong finish from him, racking up more points for that overall series title, and it shows with him being in the lead. But although Mick Hanna not being here, Troy Brosnan has a chance to take it, but he needs to take the win here.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because I want to talk about Troy Brosnan. He's a guy who was here, and he's loving the conditions. We saw the tweet from him earlier and on Instagram. Troy Brosnan could get it done because this is where he feels at home.
Yeah, Troy Brosnan, very slow start to the season. He moved over to a new bike, but lots of testing, and it paid off in Leger with the win, and he has a chance to three-peat today and take that title.
Well, he's got a lot of wins. He's got a World Cup win too as well this year. He's been on point, and he feels comfortable. He feels at home when he's here in Whistler, competing on the Canadian Open. DH presented by iXS.
That he does. He's a hard man to count out on this racetrack, the Canadian Open. Very hard man to count out.
Well, let's take a look at the guys you're going to be looking at. This is how we're going to start things off right here. The Aussie Jordan Rachira is going to start things off, and we go through the list there. There's some guys that you recognize right there. There's Fairclough in there, Elliott Jackson, Keegan Wright, Magnus Manson, the guy who came out and got fourth in the Fox Air DH. He's a guy who could kind of shake things up as well, coming up for you in just a little bit. So we're getting fired up. I hope you at home are getting fired up. I know Tracy Hanna is pretty darn fired up. The men are coming up for you in just a little bit. Stay with us.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Crankworx Whistler brought to you by Dose.ca, your entertainment fix. Dose.ca. Your Canadian Open D8s presented by iXS. We are getting into racing right now for the men. The ladies, they are done for the day. It's all about the men and a beautiful blue sky day here in Whistler, BC. Our second to final broadcast out here for Crankworx Whistler. And we focus all up top for our first rider to drop in here. And that's Prochira, Jordan Prochira from Australia. He's going to need to put a fast time in here with guys like Troy Brosnan and Jack Moir coming up.
Yeah, we have a hugely stacked field here. Here we pick him up, +4 back, not too bad. Jumping over there into the loose conditions. This could play into his favor. Being Australian, he looks like a very strong guy as well, so he shouldn't fade down the bottom here.
You just really see the dust right there now as we approach for the road gap here for Jordan.
So Matthew Beer sitting with the hot seat and the fastest split at 2:23.57. Jordan a little bit down on that. He's hard on the pedals coming into the last section of the boneyard here, holding a tight line. Losing a little bit more time. He's back by 6.97. Man, you can see the dust there. Look at that. Chewing through. You're not sure what line to take there.
Visibility kind of even tough in some of those upper sections.
Yeah, opting for the foot out. Feels like he can be more aggressive there than holding his feet on the pedal. Jordan Preshov, new to us at Crankworx, also dabbles in a bit of EWS.
Yeah, rider doing it for Giant. He's going to come across and check in with 3:01.85. That's 5th place for Jordan Prochira. And not able to challenge that fastest time, but probably happy just to be down at the bottom at this point.
Yeah, any clean run here is good. We've heard Tracy speak about it. Very treacherous conditions up there, so anything clean, no crashes, you got to be happy with that. One of his first dabbles in Crankworx here on the World Tour.
We got Jason Schroeder. You see coming up. Here's the rest of the list. If you can take a look at it right now. See Dakota Norton, Brendan Fairclough, Elliott Jackson in there, Joshua Button, Blanky in that mix too, Charlie Harrison.
Alex Fillot coming off a win at the rain-soaked Lords. We had a huge crash here on that step down last year. He's a man to watch as well, young, skilled Frenchman.
We haven't talked about Mark Wallace. He's a guy also coming up, and Mark Wallace, he could make it happen too as well. I mean, he's done it before.
He does fly under the radar. He's had podiums here. He's had second.
Yes.
I mean, he's really just a quiet rider that lets his riding speak for itself, and that's why you might not hear much about him until you see him on the racetrack and knocking those results.
And you see him put in a fast time, exactly. Well, Facebook is a great way to get in touch with Crankworx, facebook.com/Crankworx. We talk about Crankworx.com, the website, but Crankworx on Facebook, equally entertaining and keeping you up to date with all the videos and behind-the-scenes stuff. You learn about the pros and about the competitions and about the schedule as well. Always make sure that you get on Facebook, Crankworx World Tour on Facebook. Make sure you follow it keep up to date, especially in the off season too, because we got to wait all the way till March after this one's over.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I'm chomping at the bit to get to another event, but we're going to have to wait till next year. But you can follow it all on Facebook, on the website, like, share, and interact.
Crankworx World Tour. Follow on Facebook. Kids having a good time out here as they enjoy the action here in your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. Andrew Needling, a two-time medalist in the Canadian Open here. Conditions, when you got your medals, Needling, what was the conditions like for you? Were those tough conditions back then?
I mean, I'll have to say they were very tough, obviously. No.
Well, you got beat by Stevie Smith on both of them, so it was all right, right?
Yeah, that's an honor to me, to be honest. I look back at that today, and just to be up there with Stevie was great.
So next up, Shangshan Chang, Chinese Taipei rider, who competed this week, also competed in the Garbo DH, 16th for him out there.
Yeah, and the Air DH. It's great to see guys from all over the world coming here to Crankworx, the final stop of our world tour. He's a little bit back, taking the wide line and crossing over to the inside line there. Getting in a couple pedal strokes. Man, the course is so rough.
Oh man, how do you hold on to this one? New to Crankworx.
Just that, new to Crankworx. What a challenging track for him to come out. But he's looking good. He's looking very good here for one of his first attempts at the Canadian Open DH.
Well, like we talked about, competed in other downhill events, the Garbo, the Fox Air DH.
So Matthew Bear still in that hot seat and got the fastest second split there. Sheng trying to claw some time back. He's hard on the pedals. Now he's dropping into the boneyard. This is where you got to let it all hang out.
7.3 back, so he's out of touch on the top time, but just looking for a respectable finish nonetheless.
Opting for the middle line there.
Oh, wow.
A little bit late on that turn. He's going to lose a bit of time doing that as well. You want to set up a bit wider on that turn and not square it up, especially in the loose conditions.
Always getting faster, always putting in more work.
To see him, here we go, making his way towards the bottoms. Could this be his best finish so far here at Whistler? Well, getting those pedal strokes in, too. Right across the line, the time in. 9th place, 3:03.24 for Shangshan Chang from Chinese Taipei. Well, taking a look at the leaderboard right now, how things are stacking up with some of our riders already being finished for the day. Matthew Beer, the 2:54.32. That's the fastest time so far.
And he's over Kenta Gallagher, bouncing back from some injury. Kieran McKinnon surprised a few of us with a 5th in the Air DH. Can he follow it up here in the Canadian Open? Also coming off a 15th at St. Anne.
Yeah, so World Cup finish, top 15. That's respectable.
Very respectable. He's also been second at Pro GOT, so no slouch on the downhill bike. Maybe he's going to build a bit of confidence. 1.4 at back. He's in touch here. That is easy to make it up. There's a new line that we haven't seen, opting to set up and then go riders right of that tree, the high line. That's the shortest way around that turn, but it's a little bit slower in speed. Dropping into the steep pod here. You want to be off the brakes. Oh, it looks like he ran a little bit late there before he popped out the woods. See, Brad, you want to make sure you do your braking very early before that steep pod. You don't want to tab brakes in that turn because you've got such a big straight coming up that you want to carry big momentum into.
Yeah, you got to keep that speed going. Kieran McKinnon right there. You're looking at Matthew Beer split on that with a 2:23.57. How far back? 4.14 for Kieran.
Yeah, so he's dropped some more time in not a long section. I feel like he was a little bit late on the turn. That is clean on that curve. He set up nice and high there, able to come out of that turn on the inside.
Time ticking away right there, over 4 back. Can he get a couple more seconds back on it? It's going to be tough down here towards the bottom.
Yeah, it'll be tough for him to repeat his great result in the Air DH here in the Canadian Open.
Well, Kieran McKinnon, here we go. He's going to cross the time in for him. That's going to be second place right now, 2:58.42. So 4:10 back. So, I mean, if it was done right now, that's respectable, but some big names still to come, Needles, now.
Yeah, some big names. Magnus Manson, the youngster, going into the elites. Joe Smith, Keegan Wright, Taylor Vernon, all guys still to drop. Brendan Fairclough.
See Johan in that 4th spot. Gallagher in 3rd right there. As we're getting into the thick of things out here, welcome everybody out. Your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS.
Get that for me.
Brad J, Andrew Needling up here. High atop the GLC. You can see Kieran taking a little bit of time, signing some autographs for the fans out here. You know, we have some great coverage out here. Let's kind of take a look at the top of this course and show you the conditions here.
Okay, let's stop it here, Brad. As you can see, he's come down the middle here. I think that this line here might carry more speed going into that next section, but what he's done here, he's trying to do the shortest distance here on track.
So you like the idea of kind of staying more to that looker's
and
right.
And this is where I want to stop it up. Here we go. If we can stop it here. As you can see, there's a line here which you can carry way more momentum. But like we said, he's coming right as left of that tree, or right as right, I apologize. That's the shortest distance. So if you can ride that clean, you gain some time on the other riders, even though they've got a faster, wider track there.
So is it a gamble, Needles, to try and do what he's doing right here?
Exactly that. The inside line is shorter, but if you mess it up, you just lose all your momentum for the very next section.
And that's what you were saying was where you want to have that momentum in that next section. And so for him, that was enough to put him in that second spot, about 4 seconds back from the top time so far. Kind of breaking down your line choice right there. Or a man that knows a little bit about line choices. Yeah. Well, Jake Newell will be our next rider that we see come down this course. And you can see Jake right there. He is ready to come down. 19th at the Rotorua DH, so a top 20 finish for him out there.
Yeah, we don't know a huge amount about the rider. Coming here on the world stage of Crankworx. He is Australian, so like we said, will that play into his favor? A little bit back here. Opting for that smoother but middle line, and the same as Kieran. Rider's right above the tree. Very direct line. I do like it if you get it clean.
But that's the key. You got to be clean to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, you want to keep momentum to stay on top of all these bumps. The minute you lose momentum, dab a few brakes. That was also looked a bit late on that turn there. That you see, he's got to put the pedals in to get over these jumps instead of coasting into them.
So Jake Newell right here, coming across the road gap, clean on that.
So he's coming up to the split. He's looking to get in with a 223. He's a little bit back on that split, coming into the boneyard.
Time ticking away here. So he's 4.24 back right now, Jake Newell.
Holding a nice and tight line there, setting up for the turn. What is he going to do in this powdery turn? Very clean through there. Nice technique. I like that.
Trying to keep it solid. Here we go. You can just see that dust flying up all the way through as Jake Newell is trying to beat the split time 2.54.32. So how far back does he end up right now? Jake Newell crossing third place, 4.84 for Jake Newell. So he is back on that one.
Very respectable time from him. Spinning it out at the finish. Sigh of relief, getting down that treacherous track. Let's go back to the top, Brad.
All right, 2:54.32. That's the time to beat. 2.4. But you got to try and see if you can knock that one down. Next up, we take a look at Bruce Klein.
Very young rider, second year elite. Coming from 14th at St. Anne. Great finish there. A little bit of rain did affect that race. He's also got a first in the Pro GRT, stop number 3. So a young American racer looking to take in the footsteps of Aaron Quinn. That was very good. I liked how he set up. He's carrying very good momentum. Hopping over the bump there. Yeah, aggressive riding from him. Keeping low. Can he get off the brakes here? That looked way better than the previous rider. Getting some more momentum into the speed tuck into the jumps.
Well, it looks fast. Let's see if that transpires to actually being fast, and we'll check the split on him right now. As Bruce Klein.
This is looking good. He should be up here, looking to get ahead of the 223 split. Coming into the boneyard. He is up.
Oh, yeah.
Holding the high line. 2.7 seconds up. This is a great run getting put together by Bruce. How is he going to... Holding that tight line, missing all the rough dust. Very good line there as well, holding good speed. Squashes over the road gap.
Well, you said line choice is important, and Bruce Klein having great line choices here. He is up right now.
Yeah, I like his technique. Very planted on the feet. Heels are nice and low.
Well, here we go. Bruce Klein, can he do it? Time ticking away. Oh, he's done it. 3.49 up. First place for Bruce Klein.
Great run from the young American. Only his second-year elite, coming off 14th at St. Anne. He's also won a Pro GRT, so we know the man can ride. Up and coming.
Nice. He shows it right there. Well, he'll take over the top spot, and he'll head on over to the hot seat. Bruce Klein, 14th in Mount St. Anne, and coming out, snagging the #1 spot right now with the time to beat. Let's go back up top now. Oh, man, I've been waiting to see what Magnus Manson could do here. The Kona Factory Racing Mans, let's see what he can put together. 4th in the Fox Air DH, 7th in the Garbo DH. He's really showing his skills this week here in Whistler.
That he is, as a first-year elite, not letting that pressure get to him. He's a little bit back, though, on that time. 3 seconds back. That's a tall order to bring back because you've done most of the technical stuff. There's that outside line I spoke about, carrying some very good speed. But what that does is it ends up sending you a little bit wide on that next turn. Very aggressive rider. The youngster, like you said, taking 4th place this week already. Little bit hesitant there, having to put some pedal strokes in on that turn. There's some bumps that really unsettle the bike into that turn, and that's why they're stabbing the brakes.
Magnus crossed the road gap.
Has he pulled back any time? He looked very aggressive in that lower section of the routes. He's a little bit back. Over the stump, still 3 seconds back. He hasn't lost too much more time, so staying within touch of Klein. Klein was very good through this turn. Even more tight than that. Held good momentum.
Yeah, that's good. That affects him right there. Here we go right now. Let's see what Magnus Manson can do. What is time going to be? I don't think he's going to challenge that top spot, but can he just nestle himself maybe up in the top 3?
He's a tall rider for the first-year elite. Bring him home here. Magnus Manson. 2:55 puts him into 3rd place. So only 4 seconds back. Very respectable finish from our guy. That's first-year elite.
Well, like we said, you know, he's really shown what he can do. Just missed the podium in the Fox Air DH. That was 4th place for him there. And in the Garbo DH, that's one heck of a race. And he ended up top 10 in that one, 7th place. Marcelo Gutierrez won that one, and he'll be coming up.
So Bruce Klein, what a great run from him. 2nd-year elite into the hot seat. Joe Smith, our quiet rider from UK. But man, does he let his riding speak for himself. 5th in Innsbruck. Great result there. This is going to be a challenge for him. Being on flat pedals, this course is so rough. To keep momentum and not get fatigued. He's only 1.8 back there on Bruce Klein. That shows you this is a world-class athlete, Joe Smith, a lot of experience. And Bruce Klein is up at the split on Joe Smith.
Took that rider's left line around that tree, so a different approach for him.
So let's see if he can carry momentum here. There's a big bump just before that turn. It is unsettling the riders. Joe Smith on flat pedals. Him, and you'll see Brendan Faircloth opting for flats as well. It's going to be more of a challenge on this track with how flat it is at the top and how much you're trying to keep momentum, because you can't pedal everywhere, so you want to pump. That's more challenging on flats.
So where is he at right now? 2.19 back, Needles.
Very aggressive riding. This is where he can excel. Will he opt for the inside line? Yes. Very good there through the very powdery right-hander. Squashes the road gap. Pushing hard. Again, dropping a foot, but that's the faster way to do it when you're on flats.
Here we go, Joe Smith, 2:45 and counting as he comes down here. Bottom section's going to double that one up. Getting extra pedal strokes in. He's going to cross 2:52.85, 2nd place, 2 back from Joe Klein right there. So Joe Klein still the fastest time as we'll take a look at our leaderboard right now.
Bruce Klein, 2:50.80. That is a great run ahead of Joe Smith, who came off a 5th in Innsbruck. He's also top 10 at World Cups. So, man, he's really throwing his name amongst these top riders.
Well, more of the rest of the riders coming up. The heavy hitters on the way. We'll see if we can shake up the times for you here. Your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS coming up. And your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. And earlier in the week, it was all about the whip-off, Needles.
What a great event. It started as the unofficial whip-off, but it's quickly changed to the official whip-off here at Crankworx. Sam Reynolds dipping one in there. Casey Brown would go on to take the women's title. And a man you know quite well from former X Games.
Oh yeah, talking about Cook, he was the one to take it in the end.
Bubba Warren as well threw his name in the hat with an incredible whip. He would go on to take second place. But before he took second place, he overdid one. What a huge crash.
Yeah, injuring his ankle on that one. He was definitely visibly shaken up. You can see him hobbling out of that one, but he definitely had some whips for the ages.
Man, this event that was fun is quickly turned serious. The guys are having fun, but they're super competitive.
Alan Cook, a guy that I've known since he was 15 years old. He's a team manager. He comes out, he drops it, and he takes the win. His first win in the official whip-off championship presented by Spank. Cook the winner.
Yeah, the manager of the Santa Cruz team, but love still riding. He impressed me so much with that whip.
Manager of the Santa Cruz team and takes the win right there. Here we go. Now let's focus back up top. Our next rider, Taylor Vernon, now up for you.
Taylor Vernon, unfortunately got injured way back at one of the Crankworx events, then built himself up some confidence, went on to team up and be on the Atherton's team. Now moved over to the Union Tour. Back building some confidence.
And also a former British Junior National champ too, Taylor Vernon.
Yeah, coming over 21st at St. Anne, 9th at Hardline. So the man can ride treacherous and gnarly conditions. Too aggressive there, and he's down. He was just too aggressive. They're going for the hop, but his bike just wasn't settled when he went for the hop to the high line to miss that hole. That is an unfortunate crash, but he is okay.
Yeah, that's going to basically take him out of the mix on that one, going down like that for Taylor Vernon.
Yeah, times are way too tight, especially here at Canadian Open. On a 3-minute track, any little mistake will take you out, especially a crash. He was pushing hard, but he was just a bit unsettled. And the dirt is so unpredictable.
So it's going to be definitely out of touch for Taylor Vernon. He's not going to be able to challenge the top time, Bruce Klein. So Taylor Vernon, as you see that time ticking away, the time to beat is at 2:50.83. There it is, the Bruce Klein time right there at the bottom.
Yeah, Bruce Klein's time, I feel, is going to go and probably put him into the top 10 here today. That is a very good time. Taylor Vernon lost a lot of time in a crash.
Yeah, not going to be a contender today, and let's show you why he is not challenged that top time of the day of Bruce Klein. Here's the crash.
So here we go, getting some pedal strokes in, but there, getting unset. You can see the rock that he picked up. Then here, he's a bit late on the braking, and he's just half committed there. He wasn't committed. He was in two minds. Is he going to roll the hole or jump it? And that is why he went down.
Man, that could have been rough right there. Glad he is okay. Downey's able to make it in one piece, but not going to be able to get up on the podium today with any sort of crash. Now we look at Dakota Norton as he is ready to go. A Morpheus rider, 13 Leger in the air DH. And also top 20 in Leger in the DH too as well. So a couple showings in here, top 20s for Dakota.
Yeah, he's had a Pro GRT win. Opting for the riders left, the longer way around, but you're carrying a bit more momentum. Here's where Taylor made a mistake. Clean through there, opts to jump. Very committed and holds a tight line into the steep section. Hits that bump and loses a bit of momentum. The guys have really got to get out of that bump to carry momentum into this fast section with all the jumps.
There's that split for Bruce Klein, the 2:28.7.
Dakota seems like he's just behind that. Coming into the boneyard, yes he is. Unfortunately, Dakota is back on Bruce's time. I'm really impressed with Bruce Klein's time. 4 seconds back, Brad.
Almost creeping towards that 5 seconds right there for Dakota Norton.
Holds a tight line in that very loose right-hander. That is definitely going to play a role here late in the race.
See him put that foot down. Doing whatever he can to try and reel it back, but too little too late for Dakota Norton on this one. His time is going to be 4.68 off the top time of Bruce Klein's 2:50.83 Needles.
That is an extremely, extremely fast time. I feel like that's going to hold up and probably slot him into the top 10, if not better. The young American racer jumping here onto the world stage at Crankworx.
Well, and Dakota Norton made a name for himself when he won the dual slalom a few years back, and he's just been trying to really recapture what happened for him back in 2015. Not able to quite get it done. We'll have to look to next year for Dakota Norton on Crankworx. Brandon Fairclough up for you next. 9th in Innsbruck DH, 10th in Rotorua DH.
Coming off 11th place qualifying in Mount St. Anne. I bring up the qualifying. Brendan has not had the season we all expect from him. He's capable of way more. He's 2 seconds back. He needs to push harder here. That often happens in downhill. You'll be riding well, but things just don't go your way. The skilled rider on flat pedals. New line there, holding the tight line there.
Committed.
Opting to hop, but it is more of a challenge, this track. It's so rough and there's so many square edge bumps. You have to drive your heels into the ground on flat pedals to keep them on. And that means you're going to push the back wheel into those holes even more than a guy that can be lighter when he rides clips.
Bruce Klein watching Brendan Fairclough come down now. Not going to be able to challenge that time. He was, what, 2.5 back on that one split.
So one of our favorite riders to watch at Crankworx. He's won dual speed and style. He's podiumed in other events. Today might not be his day though. Holding that middle line, very smooth through there. One of the most flamboyant, stylish riders on a bike. But he has the speed to show it. It's just not delivering to the expectations we all want from him.
Oh, here we go. Brendog coming towards the bottom here. 250.83 the time to beat. Not going to be able to do that. Where does he end up? 6th place for Brandon Fairclough right there. 5.19. All right, Needles, let's go back up top. You're pointing out some lines. Let's take a look at his choices here, Needles.
Okay, let's stop him right here. As you can see, he's come wide and he's opted for a very high line here over the roots. He's gone and hopped those roots. And what that makes him do, he gets wider for the next section. So that's good. And then here, he's able to go wide and then push to the inside.
All right, well, let's check out the next section for our next racer. There we go. This is Elliot Jackson now. Elliot Jackson, 3rd in Rotorua. A podium for him to start things off in this Crankworx season. Here he comes, the giant factory racer, Elliot Jackson on course.
Yeah, and even before that, the Rotorua before that, holding that high line, new line that we haven't seen. Opting not to jump there. He's 2.26 seconds back. He used Crankworx to almost have a breakout result when he got 2nd in 2015 as well in Rotorua. Works a lot on his fitness, comes from the motocross background, loves riding his road bike in the off-season, do that base fitness. Here it's going to pay off. Hard on the pedals here, coming to the boneyard.
Yeah, top 10 finish in Mount St. Anne for him too earlier in the season.
But don't let that smile put you off. This man is extremely focused and wants to do well. 3.84 back. Like we said it before, Brad, that time from Bruce Klein is extremely, extremely good. That is going to be a shake-up with these top riders. These are World Cup campaigners, Crankworx podium riders, and he's ahead of them.
2:50.83, Bruce Klein's time. That's the time to beat. Elliot Jackson not going to be able to beat that top time, but let's see what he can put in. Can he get in the top 5 here? Elliot Jackson crossing the line. 6th place, 5 seconds back of Bruce Klein's 2:50.83. So not to be for Elliot Jackson to land on a podium today.
Man, these events have shown us the unexpected results. Like we had in the Air DH, Adrian Lalonde, unexpected. Can Bruce Klein go better than just sitting in that hot seat? Can he get himself on the podium?
Well, 2:50.83, that's the time to beat right there, and that's Bruce Klein is time. Rupert Chapman up for you next. Pivot Factory Racing. 10th in the Garbo DH. That's one heck of a race to get a top 10, and here's Rupert Chapman now.
The 2016 New Zealand champ. Does a lot of events here at Crankworx, often wears himself out. And maybe he's done just that. He is back at the split, not the time he was looking for. 7.57 back. Opts for that low line, hops the route like Brendan. And that helps you set up for this inside line, shorter part of the track, and actually even a bit smoother, but you end up squaring that turn up before you come for that hole. So yeah, they go down the steep part. There's a big hole developing in that berm before they come on the motorway section with the jumps.
So Rupert Chapman back, still Bruce Klein in the hot seat, 2:50.83, time to beat right now.
Little bit back on that, unfortunately. Has he lost more time here coming into the boneyard section?
Oh yeah, he's very far back.
Lost even more time there. Not the run he was looking for.
There's no way to reel that in when you're down this far on this course.
No, not at all. Only a 3-minute track. You got to be within a second or two, even at that first split, to have a chance to take down Bruce Klein. A man newish to the scene.
But about ready to make a name for himself if he can hold on to that time. Here's Rupert Chapman. Can he end up in the top 10 here today? 12th spot, 9.71 back, Rupert Chapman. So that's how it's looking right now. Boy, the top 10 men, they're fired up to see what they can do on this course. Can they challenge the time of Bruce Klein? We'll take a look at how things are stacking up thus far. Bruce Klein still with that time to beat. There you go, 2:50.83. Can somebody beat that, Needles?
Ahead of heavy hitters like Joseph Smith, a campaigner on the World Tour here at Crankworx and the World Cup Series. That is going to be, I want to almost say a top 5 time today. I'm going to go out and put that out there.
You're going to throw it out there. All right, Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. The top riders, that's right, the top 10 riders for the men are on the way. They're locked and loaded right now. Bruce Klein can just sit and watch. He's got the 2:50.83. Will that time hold up? Well, stay with us, come back, and we'll find out right after this.
Because fast never goes out of style. Because epic rides should actually be epic. Because steep is relative. Code was designed to deliver massive power and predictable modulation for braking control when and how you want it, on the longest descents and under the burliest loads. Better, stronger, faster.
Crankworx Whistler brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Great day for racing going on here for your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. And if you're watching at home, let me show you where we are right here in Whistler. Zoom on into this. What a great place this is, Needles.
Yeah, and only 2 hours from Vancouver. So a quick trip up here after you fly in. 3 lifts, 97 trails. I mean, they got something for everyone here.
Well, and they're saying there's some big changes on the horizon for this area. A lot more trails coming your way.
It's only going to get better, isn't it?
Taking a look at your leaderboard, there you go. You got Beer in that third spot, 2:54.32. Smith holding down the 2:52.85. And then you got Bruce Klein
fastest time. Kind of a surprise right there, Needles, in your eyes?
A little bit of a surprise, but what a smoking run. We know he's got the capabilities. Only the second year elite, coming off some good results. He has won a Pro GRT before, so we know he's got speed. We just weren't sure we're going to see it today. Ahead of some big hitters already.
But then you also got your top 10 guys coming up too for this. We'll see how that goes. But
yeah, he was carrying a lot of speed all the way down the track.
Let's catch up with Hannah Bernard, standing by with our current leader, Bruce Klein. Hannah.
Hey, thank you very much, guys. Yeah, the guy that's been surprising us all day, 2 seconds ahead of the closest competitor. Bruce, we were talking just a few minutes ago. You kind of chose a different line in that route section. Do you think that was the difference for you?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was planning on staying on the high line, but just hit the corner with a little bit too much speed and started sliding off a stump, so decided to hook off the top and land on the bottom of the trail. So a little sketchy, but it worked out, so I'm happy.
Yes, it did. And the last time we saw you at Crankworx was in 2014 in the 17-18 division. Where have you been? What have we seen at Crankworx?
Yeah, this year just been kind of trying to do really well in the National Series and then on the World Cups as well. So I was here last year and just kind of rode and had fun with all the boys. So it's good to come back and race for sure.
Well, how comfortable do you feel in the hot seat right now with the top 10 guys coming down?
Hopefully it holds for a little bit more riders, but we'll see how fast it is, and maybe we could finish with the top 5 or so, so I'm happy.
All right, well, we hope to see you at future Crankworx guys. Bruce Klein sitting in the hot seat right now.
Well, Hannah talked about some of the guys coming down, and here's some of the guys you're going to be looking at. Look at the first 5 of these guys, Blanky in there, Joshua Button, Shane Leslie, Jacob Dixon, and then Charlie Harrison too as well. But then you look at the rest of the guys too as well. And one of the guys I want to talk about besides Troy Brosnan and the rest of the crew is Jack Moir. He's on something a little different this year, isn't he, Needles?
Yeah, that he is. Intense has been working on a prototype 29er, an aluminium version. They've had a couple renditions, but what we see here, they've gone to their first riding prototype in the carbon version of the 29er. It's only a 29er. You cannot slot 650Bs in there. 208 mils of rear travel, I'm being told. And they're very comfortable. Like I said, they were testing the aluminium version. They went through a few different geometry changes. Jack seems set on what he has here, and that's the first carbon version. And what's great is they're going to put it into the race here ahead of the World Champs and other races. So they're confident we're going to see Jack on that bike here in the Canadian Open.
Well, speaking of Jack, we'll see his new bike, but I'll tell you, he's been our leader all season long, and he's been doing it with some solid results. That is what he does. Shark Attack Jack knows how to put in results.
I mean, that he does. We go back all the way to Rotorua back in the beginning of the season. Big off-season for him, but you don't know where you're going to match up against your competition. Well, he went as good as you can go and went and won the whole event.
Yep, and then it was time to visit Leger for Jack Moir.
Yeah, he didn't do quite that. Troy Brosnan would end up with a win here, but you know, he racked up some points and he's leading that downhill championship.
Well, and he also ended up in Innsbruck in the DH out there, and he got 3rd place in Innsbruck. So showing that he can get podiums on that one. All right, so first of all, he's trying to win the downhill championship. Let's just get that right out of the bag. He wants to do that, and there are some scenarios to him winning the downhill championship here today.
That they are. I mean, obviously the easiest way to do it, go out and win the race. That's all you can do. You don't have to worry about your competition. However, Troy Brosnan looking for the 3-pit. If Troy goes and wins the race, Jack needs to finish 2nd. He'll still take it. But if Jack starts dipping down into 3rd and 4th and Troy wins, Troy can take the championship.
So he's got to keep it real close. Now, outright, if he just beats Troy Brosnan, then he comes away with the series title.
Exactly that. He just needs to stay ahead of Troy. But in saying that, he might as well just go for the win. And there's no more worry.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very easy to do. But, you know, Shark Attack Jack, he knows what it's like to put up the podiums. He's been doing it, too, as well. So will he be able to kick it up? Well, we'll find out. But before we get to that, Sam Blankenstop now ready to drop in for us.
2nd in Air DH, 2nd in Garbanzo. Will he have the legs? What a big week for him already. He also took 10th in the Enduro Crankworx early in the week. One of the fittest riders you will see on the world circuit and here at Crankworx. Well, looks like he's a little bit back coming into this first split, but only by 0.57. That is within touch. Good run going for Blinky. Opting for that rider's left around the tree, but then he goes low to carry more momentum here. Will he jump this hole? He does. A little bit of a case, but consistent. A man with a lot of body English on the bike, a lot of pedal strokes. He is attacking this course.
Third at the Canadian Open in 2013 for Sam Blenkinsop. Can he get back to podium style?
This is going to play into his favor. Extremely fit here in the motorway, pedaling all the way to the finish. He's only 0.57 at back at that first split. Coming in here, what will the split tell us? He's up, 0.96. So he's reeled it back in and put over a second and a half into Bruce Klein. He needs to hold it nice and tidy here to the finish. Over the step down. Pedaling, keeps it safe though. Opting for feet up in that fast drifty turn. Carrying momentum here into the finish. Very hard on the pedals. He'll be strong. Look for him to take down this time.
Here we go. Blanky across the line, the Norco factory rider. What's it going to be? He's done it. 2:50.15. Blanky to the #1 spot.
That is a big ride from Blanky on his new Norco downhill bike. What a big week. No idea how he's got the stamina and the energy for this.
I mean,
10th in Enduro.
You said it. Second in
Carbo, and then second in ADH. These are very physical races. Even the ADH is one of the most physical downhill races we have on the world circuit.
Last podium from him in the Canadian Open was third place, 2013 for Blanky. But right now, he's smelling that gold medal if he can hold on. Joshua Button up next.
What a great story. Josh Button used to come out and compete out here on the world circuit on the Crankworx. He went away from racing. He quickly decided to, when the World Cup came to Cairns, he ended up racking up a podium and then getting a ride on the Kona factory team. Little bit hesitant there, not carrying as much momentum. Opting for that inside line, jumping high onto the bank. Also an Aussie rider, so he'll be very comfortable in these dry, rough conditions. Like I said, so he landed himself on the podium at his home World Cup out of nowhere, working a full-time job. Then he went and toured the world. He's coming back from some injury, so building a bit of confidence.
There's the split for Blanky.
He's a little bit back on Blanky's split. We needed to see him pop in the boneyard at 2:19. He's not going to do that, though. What does it say? 4 seconds back coming here into the boneyard. Blenkinsop with a very, very fast run.
Well, 8th in Leger in the Air DH, 13 in DH in Leger. A top 20 finish in Mount St. Anne for Joshua Button.
Yeah, the likable Aussie drifting around that corner, opting to throw a foot out for safety.
And there's the Blanky time, 2:50.15. 2:50.15 the time to beat for Blanky. Not going to be able to do it for Joshua Button. He'll check in the 9th spot. Top 10 finish, 6:05 off the top time of Blenkinsop. So let's take a look right now how things are looking for our riders today. Sam Blenkinsop at the top spot. There it is, but not by much. Bruce Klein just shows you how fast he was today at 2:50.83, and Smith in that 3rd spot, Needles.
Will Blanky hang on to a win? He's an extremely, extremely consistent rider here at Crankworx, racking up podiums all over the place, but no wins.
So now we go back up top and focus on Shane Leslie from the USA.
Young US rider, 4th at the Pro GRT at stop number 5. 2nd at the Pro GRT, stop number 2. We haven't seen him here before. What can he do? He's a little bit back, 3.3 seconds on Blanky's split. Very respectable, though. There's a lot of good riders that haven't been that close to Blanky. Blanky's put down a blistering time here in the dry conditions, Canadian Open. Opting to push through that pole and not jump it like some other riders. Holding the tight line, getting a bit kicked out there. Not carrying as much momentum as he needs out of the woods here onto the motorway and jump section. Blanky was very fast here, putting more time into Bruce Klein here in the motorway.
Doing it for Defiant Racing. Shane Leslie from the US on course right now. 2:50.15. That's Blenkinsop's time.
So he's back 6 seconds, 0.89. That is going to be impossible to bring back here on the lower parts of the boneyard, coming to the finish of the Crankworx Canadian Open. It's great to see young riders showing up here. We haven't seen him at Crankworx before. This platform and this race series has really put people on the mat. Maybe the same will be done for Bruce Klein.
Shane Leslie, well past the time right now, coming across airing it out, crossing the finish line, the time in 2:57.57. Top 10, 7.42 off Blanky's time. And there's a look at the man in the hot seat right there. Thumbs up, and why not? There's your time.
Why not? Not a lot of riders still to come. Blanky sitting in that hot seat looking for another podium, if not better.
2:50.15, the time to beat here in your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. Now we focus back up top for our next giant factory racer, Jacob Dixon from Ireland now.
You see that Irish national sleeve. He's won the championship this year, 9th in St. Anne, also a 4th in Innsbruck this year. Great riding from the young Irishman.
Yeah,
he is back though, unfortunately. Blanky has really put in a storming time here. We're not sure what happened, but he's a little bit back on that first split. Opting to set up wide and then go to the riders right of that tree. Very tricky line, but when done well, is very, very quick. Oh, that is, again, a little bit hesitant in that hole. The riders are not sure if they're going to jump the hole or push through it, and that's causing some issues. We saw it with Taylor Verlin early when he crashed.
Is it a situation you just got to commit, Needles, on that?
Yeah, unfortunately, you've got to decide, but if you're in two minds coming into it, that's where the problems happen. If you're going to roll it, that's fine, but commit to that. Then you've got to commit to where you brake for that. If you're going to jump, same thing. You've got to commit to braking and then letting off.
So not sure exactly.
Oh, holding good speed there.
Yeah.
Yes, the time doesn't say, but he is looking fast. But looks are deceiving here on the Canadian Open DH. 9 seconds back, Brad.
Yeah, Jacob Dixon from Ireland. Like you said, 4th in Innsbruck downhill. So that's his closest to the podium he's got on Crankworx thus far.
These conditions might be the polar opposite to see in Ireland. I'm not sure he's ever seen dust like this. Innsbruck was dusty and rough though, and he put in a great finish there, coming in 4th. He'll have to reset and come back to fight another day.
Yeah, Jacob Dixon, 3:01 even on that one. 16th place for Jacob Dixon. So he's not going to challenge it. Sam Blankenship holding it down here today. 2:50.15. That is the time to beat. Cannot be challenged. Some big names still to come.
Yeah, we're deep into our top 10 here. Only a couple riders still to go. Sam Blanky holding on to that hot seat. The storming time.
And there we go, back up top now. Charlie Harrison, Intense Factory Racing, 8th in Innsbruck, 14th in Lenzerheide.
Great run from him. 3rd at the National Champs, the young American on the Intense Factory Racing. We'll see his teammate Jack Moore coming down at the sharp end of the field, leading the championship. Nice double into that turn, obstacle took that rider's inside line. It squares up that turn a little bit. Looking aggressive, coming in down the steep bit. Makes it through that bump that we've been seeing some riders get unsettled. Blanky can probably breathe a sigh of relief. It looks like Charlie Harrison is back on his time, coming into the motorway here.
Charlie Harrison right now towards the bottom section here. There's the split, 4, 6, 7 back.
Very difficult / impossible to make that up, but he is clean through that very, very dry and dusty right-hander. Coming into the road gap. Not a lot of track left, but you've got to keep it together. You cannot lose focus here right near the end. Your race is not done till you cross the finish line.
And here we go towards the end. Charlie Harrison trying to beat that 2:50.15. Not going to happen for him here. The time going to check in for him. Charlie Harrison crossing into 6th place, 4.96 back of Sam Blankenship. 5 more to go, Andrew, to upset the balance out here. Who's going to come away with the bronze, the silver, and the gold? Well,
it's
right
all
now,
to be decided here. Blanky sitting safe there for now, but he's got some of the best riders in the world still to come.
And you see some time between Joe Smith and Bruce Klein, but you see how close Bruce Klein is to that top spot right now.
Alex Fioli had a big crash here last year. I was teammates with him. I couldn't believe what I was being told on where he crashed. The young, stylish, and skillful French rider taking the win in a rain-soaked Lords, but with an amazing time. He's down. So Alex Fioli, it's not going to be his day. Like we said, he ended up winning a World Cup this year. Everyone said it was rain-soaked, but he put in an amazing time that probably would have still put him on the podium in the dry. So he hasn't had much luck at the Canadian Open, crashing out last year but not getting injured. Here again, he's down. What are we going to see? Bruce Klein, he's sitting in second spot. Blenky still sitting in first. 4 riders to go after Alex Fiole. Can Bruce Klein get a top 5, and can Blenky go one better than his second place into first?
Well, you got Marcelo Gutierrez, Mark Wollaston, Jack Moir, and Troy Brosnan. Those are the only ones that are left to come down this course here, your Canadian Open DH. But he's well back, 7 seconds and counting.
He is well back. It's not going to be his day today, but I mean, he's had a pretty breakout season anyway, notching up a World Cup win. We're yet to see him here on a Crankworx podium, though. He needs to find his feet here. He's going to have to wait a whole nother year, though, for the Canadian Open.
Competed in Garbo, ended up in that 15th spot in Garbo earlier in the week. His time right now, not going to challenge Blanky for the top time, but he's going to find himself in 12th, 8.10 back from Sam Blankenship.
So Blenky, he secured himself a top 5 finish, but he's looking to get on that podium and go better. Bruce Klein, so close to Blenky. I still have a feeling my money will be on him to stay in that top 5 position. But Marcelo Gutierrez, Mark Wallace, Jack Moore, and Troy Brosnan looking for the 3-peat.
Well, the worst he can do now, I think, would be 6. So you're pretty much spot on that, Andrew.
Yeah, we're getting close. But Marcelo Gutierrez, first in Garbo, doing the 5-peat, the unthinkable.
Yeah,
he was first in Canadian Open in 2004, so he knows how to go quick on this course, Brad.
He is a pit bull on wheels, this man right here.
Also, one of the fittest riders on course. We haven't seen a split time. Opting for the rider's low line, carrying very good momentum. Strong Colombian rider. Things can get also dry and dusty in Colombia. He lives at altitude, so that makes him, like we said, one of the fittest riders we've seen on the circuit.
And 2 podiums so far, first in the Garbo, 3rd in the Fox Air D8 for Marcelo Gutierrez.
What will the time tell us? He's through the motorway. This is where he will excel. Blenky was fast here. We don't have splits to compare. We're waiting for timing. What will it tell us? He's in touch, but only 1.75 back, though.
So that's in touch for definitely a top 3 if Marcelo Gutierrez can hold on. 2 podiums so far here in Whistler this week.
This is impressive riding from Gutierrez, staying in touch, opting to drop the foot, getting aggressive. But Bruce Klein is still going to probably stay in second position unless Marcelo can really get to the finish.
Well, here we go. Marcelo Gutierrez, first in the Garbo, 3rd in the Foxy Air DH. What's he going to get here today? 3rd place for Marcelo Gutierrez, 1.9 back of Sam Blankenship.
And there's your top 5 for Bruce Klein. Worst case for Blenky, as it sits 4th place. He needs to knock one more guy down, then he's on the podium. Can Blenky win this event today?
All right, well, let's check in with Hannah Bernard with more. Hannah, what's going on down there?
Hey, thanks very much, guys. Yeah, I'm sitting here with the guy that is currently in the hot seat with just 3 more riders to go down. But Sam, I want to start off by talking about how you're managing to keep your energy up. You got 10th in Enduro on Sunday, you got 2nd in Air DH, 2nd in Garbanzo, and now you're sitting in the hot seat here at the Canadian Open DH. How do you do it?
I guess it just, I'm fit. The down was pretty easy because you only do a couple of runs each day, so yeah, the end of the week is easy for me. It's the other events that's the hard ones like A-Line and Garbanzo and obviously the Enduro. So yeah, the down was the fun part and just got to push it. But I was a little bit bummed with my run, just made a stupid mistake at the top and lost a little bit of time. So after that, I guess I pushed, so maybe it worked out in the end.
All right, well, just 3 more riders to come down. Best of luck in the rest.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think it's easy, but Sam Blankenship makes it look easy, Needles.
That he does. And what he mentioned is interesting, though. If he feels he's made a mistake, maybe that shows us some info. Can these other guys go faster than that 250 time?
Mark Wallace, locked and loaded. The Canyon Factory team member, 6th in Leger, 9th in Rotorua, 2nd in the Canadian Open in 2015. And a top 10 finish on World Cup. Let's see what Mark Wallace can do here.
Yeah, he seems to be a bit down on Blenky's time, but not by much. It's only 0.13. Barely down. Great riding from Mark Wallace. He's podiumed here, like you said before. He's also had great results as a junior. He knows this mountain so well. Teammates and former teammates with our late Stevie Smith. Mark doing Stevie's legacy justice here. Can he get down this course and dethrone Blanky, who's sitting in that hot seat? Onto the motorway section. Blanky was very quick here, taking 1.5 second out of Bruce Clementine here in a short 40-second section.
Well, here we go. Mark Wallace. There's
He's
Blanky's.
in touch, Brad.
Oh.
He's very in touch. What will it say? But he's lost some time. Oh, and he's run so wide there. That's going to be more time. That is unfortunate. He seemed to run wide there. I think he's going to lose even more time. Very good run until that mistake, though. He squashes the road gap, lands smoothly. Sets up nice and middle there for that sweeping turn. Keeps the feet on. Hard on the pedals here.
Yeah, here we go. Mark Wallace. The time to beat, 2:50.15. Mark Wallace, here we go towards the bottom. He's crossing. What time is it going to be? Third place, 2:52.04 for Mark Wallace. 1.89 back of Blanky.
That mistake really cost him as he came into the boneyard. He was within touch and just ran wide in that turn and lost all his momentum.
2 riders left to go. Let's look at the leaderboard so far. Your downhill standing. Jack Moir, 245 points. Mick Hanna not here today, non-factor. Troy Brosnan in third with 180 points. Moir either needs just to beat Troy Brosnan outright to win the title or not finish worse than second place. But Troy Brosnan, if he wants to make it happen, Needles, he's got to win.
He really does have to win. Or he's got to have Jack so far down and slot into second or third. But Jack has been riding extremely well this year, third in Garbo. He's our series champ in 2016. He said that's all he wants to do is try retain that title.
And you know, with Sam Blankenship right now in the spot that he is in, he is guaranteed to come away with the medal. The color of that medal has yet to be determined.
No, it's undecided. And like you said, he's had amazing results here, but he hasn't quite notched that win. Is today going to be his day?
Well, and Troy Brosnan, though, when you're racing a very confident Troy Brosnan, that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, Troy Brosnan had a very slow start to the season, you know, compared to his expectations, new team. But he backed that up with a win at our Crankworx round in Leger.
Well, it comes down to it right now with just 2 more riders in the balance as we go up top and get set for Shark Attack Jack. Jack Moir, Intense Factory Racing team member from Australia, needs to finish strong here.
What will the split tell us? Is he in touch? He's up 0.68 on that new carbon prototype. 29-inch wheels, coming off some of the best results he's had all year. He looks so deceptively quick on a bike. It doesn't even look like he's trying, but the speed he carries, he's a very tall individual, rides a very high front end, quite a relaxed position on the bike.
Jack Moir right now trying to take the win. Won it in Rotorua, first in Leger in Air DH, a top 10 in the DH in Leger.
He's doing exactly what he needs to be. This is for the championship, Brad. He's coming into view here in the boneyard. It looks like he's up. He's doing exactly what he needs to. We haven't got the split, but it looked like he's still up. If he can go into that hot seat, he's basically secured the series title right here today.
It all comes down to this right now. Jack Moir needs to finish number 1 or number 2. Here we go. Sam Blankenshop's time, the time to beat right now, 2:50.15. Can Shark Attack Jack make it happen here? Towards the bottom section, a couple pedal strokes in. Can he do it? It's looking good right now, Needles. Here comes Moir. Here comes Moir.
No, it's not enough.
Third place, 2:51.02. He cannot secure the title right now. It is going to be up to 1 more man, and that's going to be Troy Brosnan.
Wow, Blanky put in a stormer down the bottom. Jack Moir was up. Blanky and Bruce Klein, sitting still in second position, has secured himself a podium.
And Blankenshop can finish no worse than second now. So right now, Jack is going to be watching this one real close because it comes down to Troy Brosnan. But let's take a look at Moir. He looked good up top, lost a little time down at the bottom.
He really did. Cool, calm, and collected. Choosing that high line, riders right. Then you set up wide and you go inside again. He was carrying good speed in the woods, but Blanky was extremely quick here in the motorway. Jack choosing to tuck, but Blanky was on the pedals a lot here. Little case there. My word, he's going to sit with anticipation. He hasn't done what he needs to secure that title. He needs to hope that Troy does not go out and win this event.
Well, that's what it comes down to. A big crowd on hand for your Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. And there's a look at Sam Blenkinsop. It's just a waiting game for him. Is it a gold medal? Is it a silver? But you have to look at it right now. Okay, the deal is Troy's got 180 points. Jack Moir's got 245 points. So now, if Troy can win it right now, if Troy can come out and take the #1 spot, he would not only win the event, but he would win the Downhill Series title at Crankworx.
And only cool $10,000. $5,000 on the line for the win today and $5,000 for the championship. Troy Brosnan, looking for the three-peat. He won here the last 2 years running. World Cup win this year already, Lachey. And he's up by 3.9 seconds, basically 4 seconds. That is what we expect from the reigning champion Canadian Open. He's really come on form here late in the season, playing into his favor. Very smooth, doing the hop over that line, holding the tight line down the steeps. Here he needs to get off the brakes and carry momentum. It looks decent. Wants to carry good speed. Yes, squashing that jump. Troy Brosnan is very good on pedals, a very fit young rider from Australia. He's doing what he needs to do to win this title here. Let's see him into the second split here. He is still up by a margin and a half here. We haven't seen the split, but he is up, Brad. 4 seconds and counting.
All right, Troy Brosnan right now, a lot on the line. The three-peat is on the line. He's trying to win it here today. He's also trying to come away with the Downhill Series title. If he can get first, he will do just that. You see Blenkinsop's time right now. It's a 2:50.15. Troy needs to beat that. He needs to come away with the #1 spot. As he's coming down into the village, here we go. Troy Brosnan, oh my gosh, he does it! 2:46.04. By 4:11, takes the top spot in the series title with 1 run.
What a huge run. Delivers under pressure, does the three-peat, the unthinkable here at the Canadian Open at our final stop of the Whistler Crankworx.
I had said it before, a confident Troy Brosnan. He went into today on Instagram saying he feels good. He loves what it was all about. He comes out and wins, squashes it. Walk us through this run, Needles, that Troy Brosnan just put together, man.
A lot of Troy's work was already done up top. He was 4 seconds up. Going wide, just setting up to go inside. That's rider's left. That's the shortest way to get down this track. Holding it tight here. Just so smooth. I just like how he's not too aggressive and just keeping traction on his tires the whole way down. That was key to him. Very smart, smooth, and calculated race that we saw from Troy Brosnan today.
Well, Troy Brosnan can do no wrong. Taking care of business, let's send it down to Hannah Bernard with our champ.
Talk about delivering under pressure. Troy Brosnan does it. He delivers the three-peat here at the Canadian Open Downhill presented by iXS. Troy, what did you say to yourself before you dropped in?
I just really wanted to stay smooth, and I knew this track was really good for me, and it's really dry out there, and I just wanted to attack it as well. So I'm super stoked with getting a three-peat, and just it's awesome here. I love it.
Well, you said earlier that it feels like home. How much did conditions play into this win?
Yeah, it's crazy how dusty it is up there, and it's definitely like Adelaide, Australia back home, and I've lived here for a little bit, so it's just awesome. It feels like home as well, so I'm just super stoked, and to get another win, it's awesome coming into the World Cup.
And the series championship came down to the wire. With this win, you are the series champion for the World Tour on Crankworx for downhill. How does that feel, Troy?
I had no idea, so I missed one race, so I didn't even think this was possible, so I'm super stoked, and yeah, it'll be good to stand on the podium.
All right, well, big congratulations to you guys. Troy Brosnan, your gold medal champion and series champion here at the Canadian Open Downhill, presented by iXS.
Oh, man, just an amazing thing. That kid, you just remember him in all the amateur ladders as he has made his way through. You've watched this kid grow up at Crankworx, and then he comes out here. He's a big man now, putting up big numbers, and he takes the Downhill World Tour Series out here. Amazing stuff, Needles.
That he does. He goes and sneaks that title away from Jack Moir. Disappointing for Jack Moir. Put in a good run, but lost some time down the bottom. It was always going to be tough, though, to beat Troy Brosnan. He's very confident. Like he said, he used to live here in Whistler in between the races. So what can you say? Almost a bit of home court advantage here.
Well, he cut his teeth on this bike park for sure. He knows Whistler, and he sure knows how to ride downhill because he's done it again. Troy Brosnan, that's right. He completes the three-peat back-to-back wins on the Canadian Open DH presented by iXS. And not only that, he secures himself with the series title. He misses an event, but you know what? When you're the golden boy, you come out swinging and you can win events like this. Amazing, amazing stuff right there out of Troy Brosnan. Great to see him get that done. Also great to see Tracy Hanna. She was on fire. She's on point. Australia won for the women. Australia won for the men. That's how you do it. They love it out here in Whistler, and they know how to get it done. Well, on behalf of our entire Crankworx crew, Hannah Bernard down in the finish corral, and of course, Andrew Needling, a two-time medalist in this very event. Thanks for being part of an amazing event. I'm Brad J, and goodbye from Whistler.
Tinder at 7? You're at Tinder. You like all that shit. I don't even know